Why? Tell them that it's human nature. Why? Why does they do me that way? She said, why? Da 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 da. Why? Well, I guess I'll stop right there. Shout out to the King, MJ King. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my Sunday brunch. If y'all are eating, having your waffles and chicken wings and grits, and you know what makes up an awesome brunch, and probably some pancakes thrown up in there, and some mimosas, and you know all that cool stuff. Don't stop doing what you're doing. I'll just do all the talking today. Yesterday was an awesome 82-degree day here in March in Dallas-Fort Worth, but today is like 64, trying to make it up to 70. And it's like a crisp little wind blowing, but it's all right. I'm not tripping, not complaining. And those of you who watched the previous videos I put out last night, I went to the monthly Caribbean brunch. It was a lot of fun. I bought some more food. I bought the stewed chicken with the rice and lentil peas. I didn't have cabbage this time, but it was still delicious. I enjoyed it afterwards, you know, in my ways. I walked back to the train to head out. But yeah, so anyway, you know, and I have a lot of thoughts. There's a few more thoughts I want to put out on my Facebook as well as my YouTube channel, Rico the Opinionist. Coach East, good morning, brother. And thank you for that, man. I enjoyed lunch tremendously. I appreciate you, brother, as always. It's very thoughtful. Again, it was a lot of fun. And for me, it's not about just wilding out. I sometimes just like being out and just listening to music, and it does not hurt when you're like 54 years old and you know trying to hold together and see little young cutie pies shaking and baking, and I don't have to make it rain. Just all you have to do is put on that favorite song and they're shaking and baking. And that's what it does it for me. It doesn't have to be all that wild, because I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm not in my 30s, not in my 40s. I'm on the other side. I'm cruising into my 50s. Well, hell, I'm still cruising. I'm 54, so, but I'm enjoying it. It's cool, and I have no desire to be 20s and 30s and that stuff anymore. But I'm not, because I'm in my 50s doesn't mean I'm dead or dying or any of that. You know, as long as you're alive, you're living. You hear me? So, you know, you have people, and I'm going to get to my topic. I just want to have a quick, brief little opening for y'all, with y'all. You know, some people are like, what you doing? Still going to like stuff like that, going to the club? I'm still alive. I still enjoy music. I like old school. I like some of the new school. I like Caribbean. I like reggae, dancehall. You know, I still like music. I'm still rhythmic. I like music, so I'll go where it is. And certainly not in a place where the foolishness is going to pop off. Well, wait a minute now, because a girl was about to get into it in a private VIP section. Couldn't hardly stop her. They didn't fight, but little mom was trying to get at the light skin good. Yeah, it was one of those. She's a little brown skin, kind of thicky, maybe a little thicky little chick. And the other was a tall, medium build, light skinned chick, and she was trying to move heaven, earth, and the Caribbean to get to that chick. God dog, I said, is she gonna let somebody calm her down? She was pushing through folks, grabbing through folks. And the little light skinned chick with her other light skinned chicks is like, girl, come over here. They pulled her into their VIP. Talking about light skin rescuing light skin. It's something different. But I still enjoyed my peach crown. Yeah, I was chilling on the peach crown last night. Not bad. Not bad at all. But anyway, that was last night. So, but this morning, you know, I'm always going through social media, listening to the conversations and also comparing, contrasting what was going on last night, because I kind of stay out of the way. I'm still inside. I'm still that introverted, shy kind of dude. So I kind of stay out of the way. I just do my little side to side, and I, you know, as they say, I don't bother nobody. But I do hear, I do listen, and I pay attention to stuff. And so, but for the last, 5-7 years, this word patriarchy, and I'm getting into my topic. And let me let this wind blow a little bit. Patriarchy. I looked up the definition. I could have sworn the definition of patriarchy is a little different than what they're presenting today. You know, it's almost like a system that's male ran, and you know, pretty much they set the laws, the beliefs, the government, and to set the moral standards and the attitudes and of expectations of behavior, like in a lot of countries. But somehow they've added this piece. It says, where men hold power and women are excluded from power and women are suppressed and subdued. I don't remember that being a part of the original definition. That damn Wikipedia and these new Google definitions to fit today's narrative of patriarchy being evil. And I just find it to be kind of amazing that has been allowed to slide by, and people have made political campaigns and political stances, have had marches, down with the patriarchy, down with the patriarchy, misogynist, misogynoir, the patriarchy. Well, y'all know I like to talk about us. I can go global, I can expand or broaden the conversation, but in the broader sense of things, we seem to be suffering the most, even in the most specific way of things, as the black community in America and possibly global. You know, you hear a lot of these women, you got these old broads over 40, you know, who ruined their lives and they was young and fine and pretty if they were ever that. Now you got these beautiful, gorgeous, sexy, succulent, tender, college-age young women screaming down with the patriarchy. And of course, you know, they're the ones, and I'm getting to them, slow it down. You know, you got too many young, beautiful college girls, young women, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, you know, screaming down with the patriarchy. And the strange thing about that, a lot of them grew up with fathers. And some things should not have been politicized. The family structure should have never been allowed to be politicized. Because due to the breakdown and the purposeful attack of the black family structure, you have all this weirdness going on. You have all this chaos. And let's take it back 50 years ago when Lyndon Baines Johnson, and I'll just even say the CIA, FBI, well, the United States government partnered with white feminists such as Gloria Steinem, and they brought in this black figurehead, that black chick that's holding the black fist with her in those pictures. Well, that heifer just died a little while ago in the race. And I hope she, you know, before she passed away, she repented for her sins. I wonder if she ever took the time to look back and see the damage that she contributed, that she caused while participating in that feminist movement. And now I understand that the feminist movement go way back 100 years or so. When, you know, white women were upset with white men. Because white men, I guess, literally had the boot on their necks and, you know. But it's interesting, though, those same women that talk about, well, you know, white men have always had us oppressed as women. We were oppressed. But it's funny that whenever the slave plantation owner died, you inherited his slaves and his property and his money. Whenever he was beating and he was out there conquering the world, white woman, you were right there beside him. You weren't complaining then about the patriarchy, the evils of the patriarchy. You were laying right there with him, white lady. When he'd go out into the back and have his way with any one of the enslaved African women and create all the mulatto babies, you were right there. And guess what? You even participated, white woman, in the patriarchy. You would beat the African women on the plantation who you thought that he had an eye for. You would beat her if she was pregnant. You would beat the baby out of her. Or have her beaten and whipped. So I don't understand how these so-called intelligent black women of the 60s, Angela Davis and that black woman who sided with, who just passed away, who sided with Gloria Steinem and her feminist movement, I don't understand how y'all partner with these bitches. Even talking about Harriet Tubman and her "Ain't I a Woman" speech, you know, she wasn't talking to black men. She was talking to white women and white trying to, y'all treat me as equals, even though those were the same women, Harriet Tubman, that stood by and watched her husband beat, maim, rape, sodomize you and separate you from your family, Harriet and all those other black feminists even back then. So I'm trying to understand, how did black men become the evil patriarchy? And that's what I'm going to talk about today. How did we become? Because black men have never owned no black women, or never owned a plantation where they beat and sodomize and rape boys and women and all this stuff. We never had a system where we kept women out of jobs. So how did, and had a system where it discriminated against women? How did black men become this evil patriarchy? And so the sisters bought into that. They sided with the government against black men, and they sided with the government to destroy the most powerful foundation in any culture, that is a family. See, you say, well, other cultures are doing it, but not to the extent of American women, American black women, and even black women over in Europe, London, all over. They're screaming feminists and patriarchy, down with the patriarchy. Before 1965, sisters, it was the black patriarchy that kept you protected, that kept you housed, clothed, that kept you stabilized. But you got that white woman who benefited from both sides and continues to benefit from both sides. You got with her, and all of a sudden now, instead of you don't go ham on the white man. You'll just say, well, a white man is not nice to you. If this white man says he doesn't want to date black women, all of a sudden, evil patriarchy, misogyny, misogynoir to that white man. But other than that, y'all want to be next to that white man. Not all, but too many. Do I have to go through that saying, not all, but too many? And so I don't understand how, when I hear black women screaming the evil patriarchy, and that's how y'all got over. Let me sing my song when they ask, how I got over, how I got over, how I got over, how I got over, is because black men is how you got over. Yeah, that's how you got over. Because of the black men in your life and your family, your black sons, the crack era. Your black sons sacrificed their bodies at 14 and 15 and 16, their freedom in their bodies, so they can help their single mother who made that choice after doing the Lyndon Baines Johnson and the Gloria Steinem years to volunteer to become single mothers. That's how you got over, off your black sons. And some of your daughters. Y'all sent her out there to sell her body to bring money home too. Oh. And so when I hear people screaming about the patriarchy is what protects and keeps civilization. Men fight other men to make sure cultures are protected. And there was men who always said, when a ship is sinking or war is going on, save the women and children. You never heard a woman say, save the men and the boys. Never. So when y'all talking this patriarchy nonsense, you're really shooting yourself in the foot because you sound dumb. Sound dumb. If they see, due to the fact, let's bring it back to the black race and the black community in America. Due to the fact that the patriarchy of the black male has almost but all been removed, look at all this foolishness that's going on in the black race in America. You got bitches like Gabrielle Union turning their boys into girls. We got little boys don't know if they want to be men or not. The women don't want to know if they want to be women or men. You got all this crime. You got this high crime rate, high school dropout rate, high mental health alert. Got all these things because y'all sided with the government against your own family. But the evil patriarchy. And so you see black men who consider themselves black men who travel, or shout out to the black men who travel, and shout out to the passport bros. And so these black men say, I'm traveling to other countries to deal in other cultures because the women there are feminine, fit, submissive, and cooperative and sweet. And guess what? When they go to Dominican Republic, when they go to Brazil, when they go to Thailand, when they go into the Philippines, y'all seen that commercial when that girl says, you know, if you're looking for a nice woman, it's a woman who loves you for you, and she's looking for a woman who wants a good relationship, come to the Philippines. It's just something about that. It's crazy. But all those countries, China, Japan, Thailand, Brazil, other parts of the Caribbean, they're ran by men. It's something to that. Those women are sweet, submissive, cooperative, mainly fit culturally. And they love and respect and understand the purpose and the reasoning for men. And they submit to it. So, for those of you saying, they going over to those other countries, those women are this, those women are fine. You don't see those women leaving those countries in droves either. And if you hear them talk, you rarely hear any of them say from the Philippines, from Thailand, from Vietnam, China, Japan. You never hear any of them or hear about them leaving by the airplane loads, by the boat loads, by the train loads to get out of those countries. Do you understand that? So America's really kind of messed up morally. And black America's screwed. Because we got away from our initial African culture. And every time you mention that, well, you know, and even in some African cultures, the queen was, hold on a minute, sister. The queen couldn't be a queen unless she had a king. But y'all don't even want to submit to that fact. So, the thing is, y'all better stop joining these white women and these other women in this bashing of the patriarchy. You better start, for lack of better terms, blessing the pimping of the dudes who are trying to get it done. And due to the fact that some of you are so hardened and so feminist and so masculine, you're not attracted to, nor do you attract actual men. You attract the losers. And what works for you are losers. Losers work for you because everybody knows when you get in a relationship with a weak-minded or a low-performing human being, well, you can control them. And that's why, let me throw the numbers out. Kareem, what's up, my man? Ladies, y'all know, for real, for a lot of y'all think that black men are the slowest people on the planet. And that's not true. Because one thing I do know for sure, the masses of you women who claim to be single, independent, I don't need no man, you don't read books, nor do you read websites, nor do you do research, statistics, and data. You don't read any of that. So that's how you know that y'all don't have good sense. You're going strictly on ego and emotion and false information. Miseducation of the negress is what I call it. And so, according to Demographics.com, the Pew Research Center, the CDC, and other governmental websites, over 51% of black men are single without children. At least 59 to 60% of black men live in middle to upper class. So let's erase these two groups of black men. So who y'all having all y'all babies by? That lower percent of black unperforming, least performing black men. But y'all to put it out before the world that black men don't take care of their kids. Black men, that's that feminist narrative that fool you to think that if you're not in charge or you're not running the bulk of the relationship, you're not in a good relationship. So I just need y'all to start reading, because you don't read. Reading bell hooks and feminist queer theory that ain't got shit to do with a real family. And it doesn't have a damn thing to do with your femininity, your natural order, who you are as a woman. A lot of you have traded your womanhood. You've traded God for material things and to compete with the very man, the patriarchy, that is there to set up to hunt, gather, protect, and provide for you. But you have to bring your femininity, your cooperativeness, your submissiveness, your sweetness, and your natural desire to be with a man. A lot of you don't know what a man is. That's why you're so mean. Do you understand? So when I hear down with the patriarchy, well, we don't have any patriarchy hardly in the black community, because the women bought into the whole, girl, you can do anything. You don't need no man. But white women marry at over 51%, and they're submissive. And a lot of these white women are doctors, they're lawyers, they're professors, but they still come home and act like a feminine, sweet, submissive woman to that husband. Y'all so stupid. Y'all think because you got a law degree, you got a PhD, you have a medical degree, that you ain't supposed to bless the pimping of the man of your house. You're stupid. And y'all let these other women make an ass out of you. Now you have been relegated to messing with that Lord. 13% of black men. I'm not knocking their hustle. I'm telling you the truth. Name me a college professor. Name me an engineer, an IT guy that makes over $75,000 to $150,000 a year. Name me any one of them. Name me an astronaut that's black. Name me a CEO of a Fortune 500 that's black that got more than one baby mama. All the dudes y'all mess with got multiple baby mamas. The lower performing, intellectual and otherwise performing men are the ones that all y'all have y'all kids by. And I'm talking about black women who are nurses, who are college students. Y'all walk off the college campus, they get y'all pussy to dudes who's thugging in the street that your college is located in. I know you ain't got good sense. And you have babies by those dudes. But the patriarchy, the evil patriarchy. Do y'all hear me on this Sunday brunch? We're going to have these real conversations. Stop all this weird ass back and forth until we start reading again. Y'all do that. But then y'all want to accuse the entire group of black men. And guess what, ladies? You're only shooting yourself. So y'all around here having conversations to the world about black men as a whole group when we know you only giving your pussy to the 13% of the losers. And again, I ain't knocking those dudes' hustles at all. Because dudes online every day saying they got 7 baby mamas. There's a guy in Knoxville, Tennessee about 3-4 years ago. One man, I think it was him and 2 others, equal to 64 children with about 10 to 15 baby mamas. 3 dudes. And this is a guy on social media right now. Shout out to that brother. Say he has 7 baby mamas. Each one of them knew about each one. So y'all need to quit lying. Evil patriarchy. Y'all got cheated out of the patriarchy. Because every other culture has a strong male patriarchy that keeps that country safe. That keeps the women safe. The women are happy. They're sweet and submissive. So y'all get it together. And fellas, y'all need to start reading too so y'all can know how to talk to today's new so-called empowered woman. She's a bitch. She's not very nice. She doesn't really like you. Because her goal is to try to sit next to the white man and he remove the white woman. I'm just saying. Again, I just stay out the way. But I've been reading since I was a little kid. And I've been paying attention to society since I was a teenager. And none of this stuff is by accident. I just hate to see black men and black boys get thrown under the bus. Because the women around here are acting wild and don't read anything. They have no respect for their own race. The only race you know is black. The only race to these feminists who was poisoning the daughters because the fathers aren't in the home because they're not getting pregnant by men. They want to be dads. These chicks that want babies. And to all you weird ass dudes out there who are donating your sperm to lesbian couples or you around here getting chicks who you're not married to pregnant. Shame on you. Because you're participating in the potential crisis of a child. When you leave your semen with a woman who you ain't trying to be married to, and you know this wench, if she black, she gonna have the baby. And she gonna have this little girl or this little boy acting and looking like a damn fool. And they're gonna be questioning what side they're supposed to be on in this society. So shame on you. Stop contributing to racism by dropping your seed in a woman who is not your wife. I'm not saying not getting no coochie, but you got to do better, bros. Brothers, you got to do better. Stop getting bitches pregnant who's not your wife. Why is that so hard, no pun intended, to understand? You are contributing. Whenever you drop your semen in a girl who you have no business being with as a husband. I don't play that boyfriend, girlfriend shit because people break up every weekend. But go back to who we were. Why family meant something. And take some of the words from Brother Elijah Muhammad back in the day when he's talking about racial unity. He said we've tried everything. But except this one thing is more powerful than an atomic bomb. That is our racial unity. We've done everything. We've jumped on the queer ban, trans ban, LGBT, all that other shit. Feminist women, women's girls and women's this and girls and women, black women, cis women, intersectionality, all the bullshit. Instead of going back to the one thing that God told Adam and told Eve. Get together and create a family. That is what makes cultures powerful. we got family reunions. You got 30 girls and 2 guys. Y'all look at these family reunion pictures now. Back in the day, you had uncles, grandfathers, fathers, brothers, sisters. Now you got a bunch of daughters, grandmamas, aunties. I think a couple of baby dads will show up, or Mr. Henry, who your grandmama been dating. And y'all just call him Pawpaw because they've been together 30 years, 35 years. What happened? And what I'm saying, women today don't read anything outside of the textbooks in their colleges. They don't read the cool books that I read growing up from Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, Dr. Amos Wilson. They don't read those books. Dr. Joy Leary, even recent book, Dr. Joy Leary. They don't read Michelle Alexander's New Jim Crow. Black women don't read shit except for Essence and Madame Noir. I'll debate any one of them about anything historical. These hoes don't read any books. I know y'all like me using those other words, but I'm on a roll. They don't. They don't read statistics. They don't read statistics. They don't do anything. All they do is talk shit. And all these platforms give them someone where they can run their mouths about a bunch of falsehoods. And yet, with all that talking, the number one assignment that God gave man and woman to create a family, they ignore that completely. Because a lot of them are atheists. Yeah, a lot of these feminists are atheists because you cannot come on somebody. You cannot be a woman and say you believe in the Lord Savior Jesus Christ and you volunteer to be a baby mama. You are a lying heifer. You lying. You don't believe in God. You don't believe in God's word. And the preachers, y'all don't help because y'all speak against patriarchy. Patriarchy is what keeps a community safe. It keeps a community sane. Is it perfect? No, but it sure as hell is not worse than what we got going on now. And a lot of the men who are worth their weight in salt are saying, you know what, the hell with all this. Let me get my passport. Let me go to another culture. Because the other women understood the assignment. I'm a woman. And I benefit most when I behave, when I present, when I emote as a woman. That's why white girls, white women, their marriage rates over 50%. Japanese, Chinese, Taiwanese, Vietnamese, Thailand, all their marriage rates through the roof. But black women in America, marriage rate barely at 30%. And so we know who the Santa Claus is for a lot of these women. Their Santa Claus is Candy from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She delivers all their dildos and battery-operated bobs every Christmas for these lazy, trifling heifers. You'd rather stick a battery-operated buzzing thing in your coochie than say I do to a man and have wedding bliss. You'd rather let another woman play all in your kitty kettle, than be with a man. Y'all are ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Y'all rather go up and be in VIPs with none but women. Not all of you are related, just a bunch of none but women and men everywhere. It's ridiculous. So again, on this Sunday, where y'all God at? Where y'all Jesus Christ at? It's not existent. You're atheist. You don't believe in shit except for feminists. You know, the sweet godmother earth and all that bullshit. It's trash. It's trash. And you're losing. And guess who is losing the most? The children are losing. Because you're raising a bunch of immoral, amoral loser kids. Yeah, they might be successful in rap. She might dance. She'll get an OnlyFans. She might even grow up and she might get a college degree. May get all of that. But still, the original assignment was man, get woman, and create family. So when y'all say, I hate the patriarchy, yes, you don't care for God. Because God put the man in control. Or put the man ahead. Did you say, Kareem? I was at a brunch a month or so ago, and it was probably 8 women to 1 guy. Yeah. And so, let me tell you something. The reason that is, guys like, no damn a brunch. These chicks, they don't do nothing but look at each other. And Kareem, you can have women there, men there. They'll ignore them unless they went to college with them or they're in the organization with them. But then the women aren't friendly towards men. That's that silly feminist behavior, like men have done something to you. Crime happens to everybody. Women getting raped and assaulted in all cultures. So you get assaulted one time, or you grew up in a terrible family, so therefore you write all men off. That ain't how you work. If that's the case, I wouldn't be able to stand the sight of a woman. But see, I understand. Come on, somebody, give me a minute. I understand the original assignment. I was made as a man. Come on, somebody, my uncle's language. One of my, them old uncles, I was made as a man. And you a woman. That's what I am drawn to. Even in her flaws. But not no damn tattoos and weave. But even in her flaws, meaning some of the mistakes she makes morally can be corrected. However, the stuff that y'all got going on now, it's irreparable. It's crazy. And finally, I want to say this, because I want to hold y'all all. I want y'all to, and some of y'all might be finished eating your food, because I tend to be long-winded. But here's the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, the politicizing of the social relationships, this down with the patriarchy. Know who else is saying that? You got young men. See, those of us who are over 50, over 45 and 50 and all that, we grew up like in the 70s, 80s. When Archie Bunker and Edith Bunker sang, we knew what girls were girls and men were men. We understood that. We still have that mind. I know I do. Blue is for boys and pink is for girls. I still have that mindset, so it is what it is. And I'm not calling nobody them, they, him, her, and I'm not doing that shit either. So, so don't ask me to do that. It's not going to happen. You're going to get looked at like you crazy. But you got these young men, I call them millennial guys. And these are the cats that I always give the side eye to, or I don't pay any attention to. I don't fool with you. I'm not. I'll tell y'all a couple of things real quick, and then I'll stop, right? When you hear these young men, and I'm blaming the black community, because they do all kinds of stuff in these other cultures. You hear these young men, 20-something, 30-something, these so-called young professionals of this day. Because again now, hold on, let me say this. For the past 50 years, we've been raised by who? Women. So y'all can't expect men to take leadership and be men, leaders of women, when they think and act like women. Did y'all hear what I just said? It's the weirdest thing. Ladies, y'all bought into the deal. You signed off on the deal with Lyndon Baines Johnson and Gloria Steinem. And y'all say, no, we'll raise the children. They funded you with all kinds of programs and monies and grants and loans and shit. So y'all can maintain, be it food stamps, welfare, whatever. So y'all can maintain the falsehood of being the head of household. And y'all done this for 50 years. And look at what you've produced. A lot of these little weak young men who don't think as men. For those of us who was born in the 70s, and I was born in 69, so came up through the 70s, it hadn't kicked in yet, per se. We were still little boys, but one thing that saved me, I still had grown men in my neighborhood who were still appropriate. They were real masculine men who had wives and other children. I had men who were mentors. See, that saved me. But when you start having these babies after 95, 96, and after 95, this is the generation of these old broken, tight, skinny jeans wearing, tattoo on the neck and on the legs having little bastards. These are the ones that y'all raised, ladies, who y'all complain about. These dudes is up to 35 years old. Y'all say they're broken. Guess what you raised? My mother didn't raise that generation of men. No, y'all raised this generation. So I guess that's what? Some Gen X women that raised these old weak-ass, sorry-ass 30-year-old men. A lot of them broken-ass 34, 35-year-olds. Feminine-ass little 18, 19-year-old sons. Or butch or feminist, heavy makeup, weave-wearing daughters. That's what y'all raised, ladies. Past 50 years, Y'all raised it so your boys are growing up to sound like you. So now you got young men, 25 years old, 22 years old, 34 years old, yelling these two words: misogyny and patriarchy and misogynoir, three words. When I hear a young man yell, you know, we have to do something about the patriarchy, or I'm concerned about the patriarchy, or and you think that's misogynistic, brother, or that's misogynoir, you get away from them. You know what those dudes are? Closeted cigarettes. The name for cigarettes in England. That's what they are. Flaming, the name for cigarettes in England. Because they've been talked out of their own manhood. They don't even think their manhood is valuable because they think and they respond like their mothers and their grandmas. These are boys. Listen to them. All these so-called new political leaders and young professionals. Well, we want to be down with the patriarchy and patriarchy and misogynoir. These are dudes that talk like this. Y'all hear me? Y'all be careful of these young men because they're nothing but chicks. Y'all know the rest. Because their main issue was for girls and women and ending the patriarchy and misogyny. When they run for office, listen to their campaign speeches. These young men, listen to them, fellas. And you women who love your sons and love black men, listen to the language of these new generation, these little millennials. Thanks, Kareem. I couldn't get it out. Well, we want to fight the evil patriarchy. And then they'll mention Trump, of course. We want to fight the evil patriarchy, and we want to stop the, we want to fight for. Listen, y'all, pay attention, because see, I'll never vote. I don't vote for women, unless she's a conservative. But I don't vote for liberal or Democratic women at all, because that's like I don't vote for Democrat or liberal men at all, because they always say these things. No, down with the patriarchy. And number two, they say this, especially these little black ones. Well, we want to make sure to stop the marginalization of queer folks, trans, and other disenfranchised groups. Now, these are black candidates asking black people for black votes. And they're mentioning trans, queers, immigrants, the marginalized people, women of color, and black women. Black women have been marginalized. Black women have been discriminated against black women. They never, if ever, but they never say a damn thing about black boys or black men. Y'all heard it here. You're going to continue to hear it here. When y'all hear these political candidates, when they talk, they never mention anything they want to do or can do, or mention any concerns about black boys or black men. That women don't do it, and these weird-ass young men that come up talking about some misogyny, misogynoir, and the patriarchy. Watch these young fellas. They are not for you, brothers. They are not on your side. They don't even like themselves. Because any man that says down with the patriarchy, you hear what I said about the little bastards. But anyway, I digress. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It's cool and brisk out here. Kareem, if you got a minute, call me, bro. I will talk to y'all later. Wait a minute. Don't forget, y'all. I have this PDF book that I sell. That I'd like for you to read. It's called The Greatest Pain I Ever Felt. Conversation with an absent biological father who never wanted to be found. It's only $10. Hit your boy on the Cash App. It's in the description box. It's here. It's $ Rico the Opinionist. And please send me an email address with that Cash App, $10. And I'll send it right to you as soon as I receive your payment. Other than that, y'all be cool and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace.